Join Cynthia Varkevisser, the modern-day mystic, as she helps you find your relationship's intuitive uniqueness, universal alignment, and a more meaningful connection. You're listening to the Modern Day Mystic Talks Relationships, hosted by Cynthia Varkevisser.
Happy Friday, everyone. This is Cynthia Varkevisser, your modern-day mystic. And today we are going to continue Monday's conversation with a little bit of, so Monday we were talking about stuff and the stuff that we keep. And today what I'd like to do is put the relationships portion into it, which is the memories that we keep through the stuff that we have. So it's a really interesting thing, and it's perfect because it's March and spring cleaning on its way, and it's beautiful, and it's great time to open up your windows and open the doors and do your thing. And if you know me at all, I'm not the greatest cleaner, but when it's time for this kind of cleaning, I'm all over it. Before I get into my stories, I would love to let you know that you're more than welcome to call in for a reading, a quick question. All you have to do is dial 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you want to talk with me. And you can also ask your questions in the big chat room, and I will get to you that way as well. So anyway, let's talk about the energy of the stuff we keep. We think that, it's clutter, and we watch Hoarders, of which I love Dr. Melva Green. I had the opportunity to meet her, and she is a huge personality. The way she laughs makes everybody laugh, and she's got this brilliant smile. And, she happens to be pretty dang smart, too. But anyway, and you can tell from Hoarders all the things that everybody goes through or what these people are going through as they have a memory attached to each thing, and of their fear of letting go of all those items in their house, that it actually runs their lives. And guess what? We're not hoarders. If you take a look anywhere in your home or in your car or, even on your person, there's probably one item that you're thinking, it's a little bit old or it no longer suits me, and we just can't seem to release it. And you kind of sit and go, well, let's not think about it. Let's just go ahead and hold on to it. And when I'm ready, I'll get rid of it. Well, the funny part is that there's always a reason why we hold on to stuff. It could be that there's a memory that we're not ready to address. Maybe there's something that we're not ready to say goodbye to, or this happens to be more interesting than not, is that as much as we want to shift our energy, there's a part of us that's afraid to shift, so we keep the things around us to hold our energy in that same place. So we stay in that frustrated spot or in that sad spot or just feeling that we're not so creative spot. There's a couple of things that I can tell you about this, a couple of stories. One is I was teaching a class on how to do a house clearing. I also do real estate, and there's this house that is just very finicky, and it's beautiful and large and fairly new and spacious, and it just couldn't keep buyer in contract. So I decided to clear the house with the permission of the owners, of course, and teach a class at the same time because, why not? How often do you get to go through a vacant house and freely go and talk about all the things that you feel and sense? So as we were going through and the students were feeling and sensing that the inconsistencies in the energy of the home, and mind you, this house is it's not furnished. It is absolutely vacant. So it was fun to watch them with their eyes and go, oh, yeah, I sense this here and I feel this there. And about feeling the energy, clearing the energy, not judging what the energy is, which is really important. The reason it's important is the house is a container of all the energy of the owner, previous owners, depending on how old the house is and how big the the emotions were within that home, um, as well as how often it was cleared or cleaned. So as we were balancing out, and it was really a lovely time, but I could sense one of the people there wasn't really sure, although they did believe they had lots of you could tell that in their body that they had questions, and so he was wondering, when is it going to be over? How do you know when it's done? And I said, don't worry, just keep going, just keep going. As we were finishing and putting the final touches of balancing out the energy and smoothing it out and preparing it for a loving family, there was a knock on the door. And actually the doorbell rang. And the students jumped because they weren't sure exactly what was going on. And wouldn't you know it, it was someone who wanted to take a look at the house for their family. So that's a really cool little thing about how energy sits and how it can affect your energy. And think about it. How often are you in a house? So it's a very important thing to make sure you're in alignment with your house. So I'm going to keep talking about these things throughout the session. What I'd love to do, though, is take phone calls for readings throughout. Again, all you have to do is give a quick call to 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you'd like to talk with me. And I have a caller on the line from the UK, woohoo, and would love to talk with them. So when we're ready, may I take the call? Hi, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am there. Thanks for taking my call, and thanks for your radio show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening. And your name is Deep?
Yes, it is.
Ah, nice to meet you, Deep. How's it going over there in the UK?
Nice to meet you as well. Yeah, things are better here now. Yeah, it's spring now, and the weather is looking brighter.
Nice. And it's what, 10 o'clock over there your time, 10 p.m.?
It is 18 past 8.
18 past 8? Oh, I counted wrong. I counted one hour the other direction. So, well, Thank you so much for calling on a Friday evening. It's really sweet of you. How can I help you?
I wanted to ask if you could please provide some spiritual guidance with regards to a relationship with a friend I have in mind, in terms of what do I need to do about the situation and how I can move forward.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Would you be willing to give me that person's name?
Yeah, sure. She's called Margarita.
Margarita, what a sweet name. And she's actually a really sweet lady. I like her a lot. She's really sweet, got a little bit of bubble, but not so much that she's, outrageous. I also love your energy. Your energy is consistent. It's bright. It's not too bright, but I will tell you that you are very reserved when it comes to the way that you talk about things. You're very reserved. If you're feeling extremely sad, you'll say, well, I'm having a little bit of a bad day. There is a whole lot of energy that you're holding in your chest area, and in particular, not your heart chakra, but in your throat. And this is how I know that although you're a great communicator and explaining what's going on, it's quite a challenge for you to really discuss your feelings or even just express your feelings in a way where you can let it all out. I also find that there is a part of you that is deeply spiritual, and there's a little bit of disconnect between your belief system and your practical system. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that you are not in alignment with your belief system. It's just that when it comes to practicality, you have questions as in, how in the heck is my belief system in alignment with what's going on in my life? And I totally get it. But back to you and Margarita. So let me ask you, are you and Margarita, because she seems very accessible, do you not see her very often?
No, she's a good friend. We both like each other, but she is not ready yet. She is in a relationship.
Which is really funny because she is extremely accessible. And what that means to me is that she is really open to sharing her feelings and great conversations, talk to you about things that she wouldn't really talk to other people. Can I please get her age? Do you know it?
Yeah, she is 28.
Okay. That's
Yeah, she's August 86.
okay. August. Okay, so she's still got a little bit of time. So, you are
37.
37, yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're both in a really interesting place. For you, you're ready to move on. You're ready to move on with many things, and really explore because you're feeling very much like an adult. You're settled in a lot of things, and now you want to move on. She, on the other hand, although she wants to move on, she is feeling a little bit unsettled where she is in her outlook of life. So when it comes to this part of the relationship, there's nothing you can do because she has to sit down and really figure out what she wants to do. Do you understand what I mean? She's trying to figure out where she stands in her life and what does she want for the next 10 years. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. And also, your timelines are a little bit different. You're looking a little bit more you're a little bit more long-sighted than she is. So, I'll be a little bit more specific, which is that you're looking 10 years down the line and actually 15 years down the line, and she's probably got a 5-year plan, if that. She's really just trying to get it to the other side. She's got a little bit of a fear going on about what's it going to be like to be a woman in her 30s. She's not really sure exactly what that looks like to be a success, to be all these things. It's almost as if she feels like at 28 she's leaving I won't call it childhood, but, it's almost like she feels like she's not going to be as fresh. So that's another thing that's going on. How you can help her. This is an interesting thing. The best way for you to help her is actually, it's time for you to start talking about your feelings. Now, you don't need to talk about your feelings about her, but it's very important for you to start talking about all the things that are important to you. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes, it does. So we were really close. We used to talk for hours and hours together on Skype around November, December time. And then she pulled back because it was hard for her because she's an honorable person and she is probably trying to make things work in her relationship.
Well, I would say, yes, that's absolutely true. But she's also in a place where, so it would look like this. If it was me, what I would be saying is, here I am in this relationship, and on paper it looks right, but it doesn't feel right. This person meets the qualifications that I wanted. Unfortunately, the qualifications that I had on my list is, 8 years old, which means I was only 20. And I have 8 years, and actually she was only 15 when she came up with this list of requirements for her relationship. So right now she's figuring out, or let's just say she's untangling what is no longer realistic. Like, oh my gosh, that was schoolgirl reality and not, schoolgirl expectations and not reality, and what is reality. So she's trying to figure that piece out. And then she's trying to figure out how is she going to stand in society. What that means is, what does that look like to be this type of person out in the regular world? Does that make sense when I say that?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now, so on your side, you can talk about your feelings in any way, shape, or form, but you don't have to talk about your feelings for her. Right now, it's really just about sharing what's important to you. So the reason that it's important to do that is, remember I talked to you about how you're kind of bottled up inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then what that does is it helps alleviate some of that energy that is inside of you. It also gets you into the practice of sharing and releasing that throat chakra, and you get to share with her and get close to her in a way that doesn't make her feel like she has to choose right now between you or this other person. And, the lovely thing is, as much as you would like to be with her, you are a pretty patient man. And you're really sweet about that. But do know that in this untangling that she's going through, it's going to take almost to the end of the year just for her to untangle. And so my question to you is do you feel like you're prepared to wait and practice sharing with the chance that she won't be able to reciprocate because she doesn't have the bandwidth right now. She's trying to figure out other stuff. So she'll share certain things, but she won't be able to share her feelings for you, but she'll be able to share other stuff. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I am, but how strong do you think chances would be at the end of the year? I know it's open to free will, but does she still have that dormant feelings for me which she had end of last year? And do you think there is a good chance that things might work out between us end of this year?
You're so cute. I love that because you have a lot of mights and might and maybes. And the answer is she does have feelings for you. There's just confusion around those feelings, and confusion is always a really tough thing to deal with because you just have to figure out what's real and what's old. So she does have those feelings. She's just a little bit confused about what is real to her now and what are old expectations from the teenager part of her that no longer really fit the mold. It's kind of like when I first met my husband at the time, when we were just starting to date. I had these requirements, and the requirements that I wanted for people in my life or in a relationship were that they had to, have gone to college, that they speak 2 languages, that they're very interested in their family, those things. But what I didn't realize is as I was dating those people and it wasn't working out, that really what I wanted was honesty, laughter. Do you understand what I'm saying? That speaking 2 languages wasn't really important. This is where she is right now. She's in that place where it's like, all the things that I said I wanted, I have, and I'm still not happy. So is it me or is it him? And once she figures out that it's her, and it's not really her, but her old thoughts and her old values, then she's going to be able to work it out. That's why it's going to take so long. Once that happens, there are 2 things that are going to shift. One is that she is going to have the feelings for you, but they're going to be different. And the reason they'll be different is because her idea of love will be broader, and then she's going to take a look at you and go, okay, now how does this fit, and how does that look? And so there is a really good chance, and this is why I recommend you keeping the lines of communication open, but to really share, but to keep it as sharing about you and not sharing about how you feel about her, because then she gets a sense of who you are and the sense of love without it being love in a relationship and love just for her. Okay?
Yeah.
Does that help you out?
Yes, it does. And do you get any timelines as to when she would be able to untangle herself from where she is?
I'm not feeling that she's going to figure it out until pretty close to the end of the year. And when I say that there's an untangling, the untangling is just going to be the part of her figuring out why this current relationship she's in is not working. It doesn't mean that she's going to cut it off and break up and then all of a sudden focus on you. It's going to be that's where the realization is. The realization is going to happen, in the heart of fall or near the end of fall. So what's that? Is that October? So right around, into September or October for her to figure that stuff out. And then your conversations, if you really keep your sharing, your conversations will change, and it'll be really sweet and lovely. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden you'll be talking relationship. So it's a slow go, and I know that you're a patient man, but I really want to, have you walk in with your eyes open that this is going to be really slow, and that the reason you're doing it is so that you can learn to share your feelings and really open that piece up. Because what will happen is as you open up, then you're going to be able to really appreciate where she is at this moment. I mean, you appreciate it, but the passion level will change.
Yeah, sure. And I do think that it's worth it because she shows me a different way of life. She has the type of energy that in her life things are just going to work out as she moves through life, and she doesn't have to worry about life. Whereas I come from a different thought process altogether. So I do think that we will be a good fit. Do you agree?
I do agree. The thing is, but I will tell you that as she goes through this shift, there will be she won't be as light because it will trouble her that that she'll make it sound like it's a mistake or that she's made mistakes, and it's not. Basically what's happening is that, it's like the time that you realize that your shoes no longer fit because you've grown out of your shoes. They're uncomfortable, then all of a sudden you have to say, wow, my shoes are it's just really painful, and they just no longer look good on me anyway. So that's, she'll think of them as mistakes, and she'll find that troubling. But otherwise, as she shifts, there'll be a new seriousness about her. But her energy force will basically be the same. So yeah, I do. I think she's very sweet, and I think you're really sweet too.
Yeah, thank you. So it's not the shoes which is the problem; it's the feet that has grown, which doesn't match the shoe anymore, isn't it?
That's exactly right. And she has to figure out. And I'll even keep the analogy going, which is she's wearing some really crazy great red Converse, and she's thinking, you know what? Maybe it's time to switch up and buy some pumps. And that's what it is. So she's shifting up, not just that her feet have grown, that she's outgrown the situation, but the look is a little bit different too. It looks a little bit different. Is that a good analogy for you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, thank you. Do you have a web page or a website I could get in touch?
I do. Thank you so much. You can get a hold of me through www.moderndaymistic.com. It's modernday-mystic.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm Cynthia Varkevisser. I do have a business page, and it's Cynthia Varkevisser, Modern Day Mystic. And if you don't want to go on my business page, you can always be my friend. It's always good to have friends. And you're more than welcome to connect with me there. You can also reach me by cell phone. I think that would be tough, but you can reach me by Skype, actually. Are you a Skyper?
I am, yes.
Yeah. So if you get information and you want to get in touch with me, you can also get in touch with me through Skype, and it's Cynthia.Varkevisser. And my name's crazy, but if you look on Block Talk Radio, you'll see my name. So
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks for the beautiful reading. It's been a pleasure to listen to the radio show.
Thank you, and of course I also have the show on Mondays too. So come connect with me on Mondays if Friday's too far away for you. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
And you. Cheers.
Thank you. All right. See you.
See you.
Okay. Bye. I have to tell you, I am so happy to have such sweet people calling in. You're more than welcome to call in as well. The phone number is 657-383-0608, and just press 1 if you want to talk with me. What I'd like to do is go back and actually use Deep Situation as a scenario. Okay, so Deep's really sweet, and what he's doing is that he's got someone that he's, let's just say, waiting for, but he has work to do as well, and the work is about sharing. So if we were to talk about memories and things, what I would encourage him to do is to take a look around at his surroundings and anything that keeps him quiet. So anything that are memories that keeps him quiet. So there's a difference between quiet as in not speaking up and quiet as in stillness. I'm all about stillness, even though, that's one of my big things I still have to practice, but it's about quiet. And then what is really important is to decide, hey, these things that are keeping me quiet, that keep me from not wanting to share because, as I look at these memories, it helps me keep my feelings inside. My question is it something that you want to keep doing, or do you want to shift it up? So, big thoughts for you as we go to a commercial break. I will catch you on the other side. Just remember, I will be taking readings throughout the show. All you have to do is dial 657-383-0608 and press 1, or just get into the big chat room, and I am happy to catch your question there. All right? I'll see you on the other side.
Experience the magic of Angel Heart for You, nestled in the heart of beautiful downtown Benicia, California. Embrace the aroma of scented candles, essential oils, incense, and aromatherapy products as you wander the aisles of inspirational and metaphysical books and gifts. Enjoy the positive energy vibrating in this historical site where the well-known author Jack London was once a frequent visitor. If you're in need of a smile or a hug, Angel Heart for You is the place to visit. Do you have an intention or a wish to manifest? Experience the magic of our intention tree. Email us at angelheartforyourradiochannel@gmail.com and be included in our Sacred Intention Tree ritual. Just write us your intention and we'll offer it up in fire along with those left in our store, then offer them again to the beach and water in Benicia. May angels be with you in all your comings and goings. Love, Angel Heart for You. Join us for the experience of a lifetime. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreats invites you to a powerful 3-day retreat in the beauty of the high desert. People travel from all over the world just to experience the healing vortexes in Sedona, Arizona. Through a series of mindful meditations and spiritual activities amongst the Red Rocks, let the land call you home to your higher self and source. Surrender, transform, Sedona. Sacred Connections Sedona Retreat is hosted by Angel Heart for You radio hosts Tana Newberry and Linda Grindell. Learn more at www.sacredconnectionssedona.com.
Hello. You're back with Cynthia Varkevisser, your modern day mystic, and we're talking relationships. Specifically, we're talking about how the stuff that we have around us keeps our energy in a certain way so that we want to shift for something in a relationship or to shift something in the relationship that it can either help us or hinder us. So I am taking calls throughout the show. If you have any questions, just call in 657-383-0608 and press 1 if you want to give me a call. So we were talking about how things really affect us energetically and how it can affect our relationship. Some of you may know that I had a pretty rough year, 2015, last year. My mother passed away in the beginning of June, and her father had passed away just before her in January, I think, end of January. And so my mom was already sick at that time, and we knew that she was sick, but she was feeling pretty good, and she had fairly good energy when my grandfather passed away. And my grandmother had passed away many years before him, and so it was time to go through the house and do the settling up. And my grandfather was, I would say he was a little bit of a hoarder. And so he had magazines from, I think, 1966 on up. And just to let you know, I don't believe they moved into that house until 1969, which means that he already had a couple of years of magazines, just magazines, that he moved into this house that I'm sure he was going to get around to reading again. But hey, who am I to say as I look at my stuff? But anyway, it's already a challenging time to go through things when you're grieving someone. But the interesting thing is that there were 6 brothers and sisters at that time, and as well as in-laws, and they were going through and cleaning up. And my grandfather pretty much kept everything. He had, he had spices from, when my grandmother was still alive, which, like I said, was, at least a decade ago. So I don't know if I wanted to taste those spices, but there they were, just in case. And what happened was there were, if you think about it, there are 6 kids, 6 different energies, and so 6 things to identify with. And I found it super interesting that the 2 kids, and they went in teams, just so you know, that the 2 kids that also hold on to the most stuff happen to be my uncles. Well, I'm not going to give their names, but they happen to be my uncles who both decided to go into the garage. Now, if you think about it, the garage is the biggest storage area, which means it had the most stuff. And it was the last place that I would, of course, it would be the first place that they would want to go to, but it's actually the last place that they should have gone to, because you're talking about people who want to hang on and a lot of stuff to hang on to. What had happened was that it created a whole lot of conflict. They weren't ready to get rid of things. All of a sudden, there were 2 piles of magazines, and one was to go to one uncle's house, and one was to stay so that he could, use the house like a library and then come back to it. So you could see that there was this hanging on that was going on, and it really affected the relationship. And it got to the point where brothers and sisters weren't talking to each other. It was, because some wanted to hold on, some, they said, it's really important that we let go. And it got to be really challenging and incredibly sad to see the struggle going on with a family that's so tight. So what had happened was the house also had to be sold, and the house couldn't go up for sale with all the stuff in the house. At least that's the way my family felt, and it created just that much more tension. Well, one of the brothers who was in the garage and that held on to so much stuff, he did something really interesting. He knew that he wanted to stay. This was his home. This is the main place where he grew up. And he wanted, he wanted to be the holder of the family functions, because, we grew up with, Sunday dinners and, birthday parties all the time, as well as the holidays. We saw a lot of each other. We were incredibly tight. So what happened was, he found out that there was a way for him to buy that house. And it was a little bit difficult, but it wasn't impossible. And this is the one time where the stuff went from being a hindrance to being a help. And what it did is that it made him do a call. It made him move into action. He knew that the family was on the brink of not speaking to each other for a very long time. And, who knew if it was going to be irreparable. And he did a brave thing. He found out that he could work it out. So once they figured out that he could hold on to the house and sell it and actually buy it at fair market value, guess what happened? It's the strangest thing and really beautiful and exciting. The family came together, and all of a sudden, all the stuff got removed. It was amazing. A lot of the furniture went out. A lot of all these things had been moved. And surprisingly enough, there's not much left there that's not what he had originally wanted. I can tell you the stuff that is there happens to be from one, released the stuff, who else was the other person in the garage, and 2, me. I have one inheritance item that I get via my mom, and I just haven't had a chance I haven't been able to bring myself to bring this piece home, which, is another thing that would be interesting to get back to. So just to show you how stuff can push you and pull you is pretty amazing, and how it can work on your relationships, for you, against you. So I have a caller from New Jersey, and I would love to talk with Rosa Maria. So Rosa Maria, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Nice. I'm so glad to hear that. Happy Friday.
You too.
Thanks. So what's going on?
I'm dealing with a couple of interviews. I know I asked relationship. I know it's coinciding with work.
Isn't that weird how that
personal.
happens? Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't know what's the holdup. I did all my work and stuff like that, and I'm like, why is it taking so long now?
Well, here's the deal. You got two things going on. And typically, just so you know, when two things are going on, what usually is happening is that there's one issue, and it's affecting both sides, right? So here's the beautiful thing. You get to focus on one, and you get both. Focus on both, you get none. It's crazy, but it's true. So let's talk about just one of the things. Do you want to talk about your relationship, or do you want to talk about work? And just know that we're going to we're going to talk about one, and it's going to go seamlessly right into the other. So which one would you like to talk about?
I guess relationship.
Woo, you picked a tough one. I'll take it. All right, what's going on?
I know I did some work with him and put it out there and told him how it was again last week. So it's like no feedback yet. So yeah, I just got a little upset about it last week. That's all.
I'm sorry. Are you okay with telling me his name and age and month?
Ralph. October and 55.
All right, let me get into his energy really quick. And I see your age and that you're in December. You know what? Here's what's going on. You're really ready to shake things up. You already have a lot of stuff going on that you can't help, right? You got to I call it environmental changes. So here's what I like about you. You're like, you know what? All this stuff's already I can't swear, but you know what so all this stuff is going on. Right. So you're like, I might as well just go with it, right? And that's what I like. You're like this rocker and roller that way. And Ralph, he is primed to move into the next stage of his life. And he's what I would call a hoarder. Have you seen his house?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does he have a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have?
It got jammed in when he moved back in there, and I was kind of jammed when I was there 4 years ago, so I didn't have room in my room. So I was like, and then the funny part was his uncle goes, well, he has to take back his kitchen. One problem, I can't even fit my stuff with me in my room. I'm like, where the hell is he going to put it?
Right. So here's the thing with him. If he could just let go of some of his stuff, but he does it because he's a little bit on the frugal side. Let's just call it that. So he keeps thinking that he might need it someday, and that it'll save him money, or it'll save him the time and effort to have it go shop because he's not that kind of shopper. So he, that's the mentality that's keeping him in this place. And just so you know, the reason he's non-committal is because he has too much crap going on in his life to try and fit you in. He's not even thinking about any kind of baggage that you may have, which, just so you know, he's not. He's thinking like, how the hell am I going to fit you in with all my crap? And the guy is just not ready to. Does he have any kids?
No.
Okay, that's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is that he needs a kid or someone younger than him that can walk into that house and give him the what and say, this stuff has got to go so that you can make room, okay? And once that happens, then his outlook will change. And once that outlook changes, then you're actually going to see the Ralph that you really like, okay? But until then, you see the Ralph that you really like only sometimes. You know what I'm saying when I say that?
Right. That was the funny part. You said that.
What?
And that's what I got mad about. I said, if I get there, if God lets me, you got 5 minutes. And that's where he got hot.
Really? Yeah.
That was funny that you just said that. And I am a lot younger than him. And I'm like, and that's where he got hot and hung up. I'm like, dude, if I show up, swear to God help me. You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? He's super slow in order to do all this stuff, So, and I think you like that part about him, that he's like a slow mover because, he kind of chills you out a little bit. But at the same time, you're like, oh, no, that just can't happen. So let's talk about your side of the story, okay? So your side of the story is that you're, that you're a mover and a shaker, right? And he's the kind of guy that is not a mover and a shaker. Now, do you go and visit him very often?
I haven't been there for a year and a half.
Oh, all right. So what you want to do is, if there's a way that you can acknowledge his stuff in a positive way, that's where you're going to get him. Because what will happen is, as you start sharing memories with him and his stuff, he'll be able to release the stuff that you're not talking about. It sounds really crazy, but it's true. The thing with you is, because you are so you're so invested in the change of all the changes that you're going on, you haven't had a chance to acknowledge anything. It's almost like if you could just slow down for just a moment and go, wow, the trees are blooming. They're beautiful. The flowers are in bloom. Oh, my gosh, I need to pull a couple of weeds to spruce it up. Holy crap, is this what I look like today? I look great. You know, take a look at your whole face. Take a look at your whole body. You're not really doing that. You're just doing inspections because you are in that place of efficiency. And so if you can pull back and just appreciate and just relax, what will happen is that everything else will soften around you. And once the softening comes, check this out, once the softening comes, he's going to start getting rid of stuff, and your jobs are going to start, the interview process is going to start shifting up a little bit as well. Are you looking for a new job?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had one interview today from that area. Well, I don't even know what area it was for, but I got confused this morning. And then I have one for the U.S. on Monday.
All right. So check it out. You got to relax. You really got to inspect to go for the big picture just for a little while, because you're so into wanting to change, because you're wanting to go with the tsunami, right? You're like, you know what? If there's a tsunami coming, I'm going to see if I can ride this wave. Instead, why don't you just sit back and go, you know what, the tsunami is not coming at this very moment, so let me just check everything out. So I would recommend setting alarms on your clock, on your phone, which you love to do anyway, and and just go at 1:00 or whatever. Play with the numbers. At 1:11 every afternoon, I'm going to sit and I'm just going to, when the alarm goes off, I promise myself 1 minute to just sit. If I'm in the middle of the conversation, I'm going to say, hold on, and I'm going to let them wait for me for 1 minute. Right? I'm going to look at the whole picture for 1 minute. I'm going to actually look to my left and look to my right for 1 minute. And if you can do that a few times a day, it'll settle you down. And when's the last time you really looked at yourself in a full-length mirror?
It's been a while because I'm working on that, so I'm probably going to give it another week or so because I'm losing weight at the same time.
I was waiting for you to say that like I haven't, because I feel like I'm overweight. Take a look now. Really appreciate the process you're going through, that your body's going through. I have to think about this for myself because, I'm sitting here going, next week for my body. But really appreciate the process. Like, I'm really working hard. Take a look at, wow, let me see how I look now. And then take a look again tomorrow and go, wow, see how I look now. And if you want to take a picture of your whole self, take a picture of your whole self. Celebrate. Because in this huge change, there's lots of time to celebrate and lots of things to celebrate about. Every time you shift something up, that is a victory, my friend. So, it's, instead of just like powering through, give yourself a couple of breathing moments. And it's going to, by shifting you up, it's going to help shift your guy up as well. He's just going to be super slow on how he shifts up.
Got it. Yeah, because he won't. Gotcha. Appreciate it. I have a quick question. I know you understood, I remember the good stuff from the past. How could I incorporate to give stuff, like his stuff away, whatever? How could I incorporate that with him?
Can you think of, so we talked about his kitchen stuff, right? Does he have
That went already, so there was a mishap that he didn't want to let go, but it did. He didn't know about it.
All right, that's
after.
Yeah, you know what? Let's not talk about the stuff that's already gone, because what will happen is then he'll feel sad and he'll collect more stuff. So if there was a piece of furniture that you really liked, if there was an inheritance piece, that you could talk about, that is good, then that's what I'm hearing, that he might have something that he got from his mom. Talk about that.
Yeah, the house.
Yeah, talk about that. Okay, talk about the house and just go, how respectful he's being by taking good care of the house. Things like that, So That's what you want to do. You don't want to focus on his stuff. You want to focus on the good stuff, right? So, and that's what you want to do. And then I would actually, if you're having a hard time thinking about the inside of the house, talk about the outside of the house. As you know, do you like his garden?
His garden? The mother kept it well, and she left me my room when she passed away because she said it was always mine. So that's why I was always over there.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
And I keep staying in my room. I need my room back because I'm coming in and I have to take care of 2 personal things that he won't do. I have to do it.
All right. Well, you know what? So instead of doing that, just go look, because he's really sensitive. So talk about the stuff that he feels safe with. So talk about the yard. Don't talk about your room, and just go, hey, I got a couple things I need to take care of, and you know, I promised I would do that. Don't talk about what it is, and then just go ahead and do it. Because it's about focusing on all the positive stuff. Anytime that you focus on, you know, like he's got to get rid of stuff, he's gonna hold on tighter. So you want to actually acknowledge the good stuff.
Okay, like when I was walking by the kitchen and the mother always stopped me. Got you. Say stuff like that. All right, cool.
Got it?
Got it now. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you totally have this, but just remember, right now, you're talking about that, but really focus on you slowing down and taking a look at the big picture. Once that's done, it's going to be a lot easier to acknowledge him because then you're going to be able to notice the good stuff instead of just popping off the stuff that you see right now. Make sense?
Yep, understandable.
All right. You got good homework. Dust off that mirror, take a good look at yourself, take a couple of pictures, say, man, I am hot. And and tomorrow I'm going to look even better. And then really just start relaxing into the big picture. And it'll shift up. Okay?
Hopefully I'm there sooner than what I think, and he brings me home.
You have way more control over the situation than you think. It's just not the path that you're thinking. All right?
Got it.
All right. Have fun with that. I'm super excited for you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So I have to say that this lovely lady was the perfect example of how stuff can actually move you forward or keep you stagnant. I can't believe that the show is already over. I'm so I don't want to say sad. It's super exciting, but so sad. I hope you had an amazing week and that you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I want to thank everyone who called in and everyone who listened. Thank you so much. As always, deep bow to my friend Tana Newberry and to Angel Heart for You. I want to thank all the people in my life that keep me laughing and to remind me that life is a verb and not a noun, something to be sat on. You can find me, as I said with Deep, at www.modernday-mystic.com. I will be at Angel Light Books in Berkeley from 1 to 4 Saturday afternoon. If you want to get a quick reading, you can follow me on Facebook and just call. All right? Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you for listening to another empowering show. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday and Friday to hear our live shows. Learn more about our live shows at www.angelheartforyouradio.com and keep tuning in to the Angel Heart for You radio channel.